I have my CWP, and I can take a weapon, anywhere, most places. I'm on church security after this shooting down in Seguin, Texas. The pastor said, "Oh, we got to do something." So I put in security cameras in both churches, Wesley Chapel and Andrew Chapel, and I got it in that bag there, a 9mm. I'll show it to you if you want to see it. A 9mm that's fully loaded, like this one's fully loaded. And there's one in the and there's one in here. So all I got to do is just cock it and pull the trigger. But I am good with guns. I graduated when I was 17. Everybody else was 18. And I just wanted to go in the Army so bad. And I was 1A for the draft. And time I graduated, I went down to the draft board. And they said, no, I was too young, I had to be 18. All my other people that graduated with me, the men, most all of them went in the service. Army, Navy, Air Force. And I couldn't go because I wasn't 18. My birthday was October the 14th. So the day after I turned 18, October the 14th, I went back to the draft board. And they told me that, you're going to go, you're to be here on April the 2nd, which would be 2015. No, would have been 1951. That's when it would have been. And you be here, so you will go from there. You go to Fort Jackson. We have a bus to take you to Fort Jackson. So I was happy about that, but I'd worked on the farm all summer, and most of the stuff had been done. And I said, I need a job to get some income. I was 1A, but they told me I would go on April the 2nd. Okay. Now in the meantime, I met a guy, and he found out that I could type, and he was in the National Guard, and this was in January of '51. And he talked me into joining the National Guard. So I did, and I made a pretty good company clerk, and we'd meet one time a week every Thursday night. And they'd had trouble in the unit in the office in Sumter. And I was able to do the morning report with no problem. I did all the typing, and I maintained the office, the manuals, the service manuals, FMs, which means field training manual, field manuals, were all a big mess, and there were hundreds of them. And I straightened them back out alphabetically and numerically, and the sergeants would come in and pick them, and they'd just scramble them. But then after I kept them, the time they got what they wanted, I'd straighten up the mess they made. And it was easy once I had it maintained. And I was the guide on there. I volunteered for everything. Well, it was special for on parade days, and the rest of the troop would be behind you. It'd be hot in the middle of the summer in Fort McClellan, Alabama, and the troops would be falling out from heat. They would pass out, especially when we were standing up, and I was able to look around. I was surprised to see the ambulances all behind me and all these people being taken to sick bay. And then when we got back from the parade, it was my job as company clerk to go to sick bay and check on each one of our men and see if we couldn't get them back in the company, which most of the time we only had one guy that he got in the service on a mule had kicked him in the head, and he had a metal plate in his head under the skin, and he didn't tell them that, but they found out he had that injury, and they had to give him a medical discharge and send him home. So you can't be over a corporal rank when you're a company clerk, like radar on MASH, the corporal, right? But I was started E5, and the reason for that was I fired this weapon here, one like that. That's a U.S. Army 45. And the first time I fired, because Herbert Rathfield had showed me as a kid how to fire guns and how to fire pistols. And I read the manual before I went out. And I mean, it was like, to me it was ridiculous. These people were shooting in the ground and all over, and I just put round after one right in the bullseye. So after I fired 30 in there, the officer that was in charge called the range officer in charge of the whole range. And that range officer said, "Can you do that again?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And so in those days, you didn't do the double hand, you used the single hand, not this one, but this one. And I put 29 through the bullseye. And the last one I missed the bullseye about an inch. And he said, "Why did you miss that last one?" I said, "I don't know." And he said, "I do, you got cocky. If somebody's shooting at you, you don't want to miss any shots." So, but I got a citation, what do you call it, for being able to do that many bullets. It was like this. Are we ready? When the postman delivered the letter, it filled a poor heart full of joy, but she didn't know till she read the inside. It was the last one from her darling boy. "Dear Mom," was the way that it started. "I miss you so much," it went on. "I love you and Dad, and my little brother Tad, and I'll prove it when this war is won. I'm writing this down in a trench, Mom. Don't scold if it isn't so neat. You know as you did when I was a kid, I'd come home with mud on my feet. The captain just give us our orders, and Mom, we will carry them through. I'll finish this letter the first chance I get, but now I'll just say I love you." The mother's old hands began to tremble. She fought against tears in her eyes, but they came unashamed, for there was no name, and she knew that her darling had died. That night as she knelt by her bedside, she prayed, "Dear God, hear my plea, and protect all those sons who are fighting this war, and dear God, keep America free."